from the Wall Street Journal. Biden planning to ask Congress for $100 billion funding package for Israel and Ukraine. $100 billion.
Get your contracts out.
Where's that money coming from?
So we've already spent $113 billion on Ukraine alone since February 2022. We've given Israel, I think, $38 million, starting with a deal in 2016 that was like $38 billion over a decade.
Just over $3.5 billion. So there was a new MOU in between the United States government and Israel for military financing, the FMF MOU that we do with Israel that we've done now for decades. And that's part of our funding for them to be able to ensure their qualitative military edge.
I'm cool with that money, honestly.
Yeah, and I'm totally support that. I don't know how this money breaks down the $100 billion. Like who goes?
I'm not cool with the 113.
My problem
either,
is
though,
I'm into like we need to fix this country right now. And I'm supportive of Israel striking back. I pray for the innocent people on both sides, but I've been like reporting on this country so much this past year, and we are a mess.
Yeah, you're everywhere.
Everything's collapsed. I was in East Palestine like a month after the explosion. They're still in need, right?
Look,
Lahaina burned down. What are we doing?
They're shutting down. I mean, look, CVS's are shutting down. Targets, Walgreens, all shutting down.
Rite Aid just went
Rite Aid.
Like
Rite Aid was that was an opioid thing.
It was,
right? But yes, that is also very, very bad. Bank branches are shutting down across the board. U.S. infrastructure is collapsing. There's this viral video right now of this woman talking. She's a Canadian, by the way, but we're close enough neighbors. She's talking about how she wanted to get a salad and some ribs, and it was $45, and she was shocked. Now, I think one of the problems here is that she blames the grocery store for the high price, which is like
that's like a Trudeau issue.
But now that's Canada.
Almost there.
I want everyone to understand. There's another viral video that I think I recorded this for Friday, so I don't think it's up on my channel yet. But it's a guy comparing prices from Costco a year on. And it's like the cost of rice has doubled. The cost of mayonnaise has doubled. The cost of beans has doubled. And he's like, they're saying inflation's only a couple percent. All of the food staples, chicken, the prices are up 7,500%. Yeah. You spend another $100 billion. We don't have that money.
Well, and it's not just printing off more money, which we've been consistently doing through the Inflation Reduction Act and all the other trillions of dollars that we've been spending because of Joe Biden and the Democrats and what they've been doing in Congress. Secondarily to that is you have to remember part of this is how does food travel? How does it get to you? It gets to you by truck. It gets to you by, what are those powered by? Fossil fuels, right? And what are the Democrats trying to stop the production of? Things like oil, gas, coal, things of that nature. So they've created essentially artificial scarcity in the marketplace around things like oil, which then creates, the demand is there, supply and demand. The supply is high, the demand is high and the supply is low because of the artificial scarcity and the regulations they put into place around the fossil fuel industry. So to be able to transport those items, it's a pass-through cost. It's going to go down to the consumer. It's going to always hit the consumer. It's a hidden tax. You all are paying right now for this war on the fossil fuel industry, literally at the grocery store. It's all part of the inflation that's happening. It's not just all the money that they're printing, but it's also what they're doing in the energy industry, which literally transports everything that you buy.
Yep. When I was in California, it was $7 for a gallon of unleaded gas.
And it all started when Biden shut down the Keystone Pipeline.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can actually look at the moment when Biden is inaugurated, not even the election, and you can see like an inversion in wages and inflation. And people are like, oh, it's not Joe Biden's fault, it's Trump's fault because they're his policies rolling into effect. It's like, no. You can actually, I think it was like Wall Street Journal showed this graph, and it's like, it just flips as soon as he starts signing these executive orders. And people are asking, how did shutting down Keystone cause gas prices and prices to skyrocket when Keystone wasn't even transporting oil? These are people, I'm sorry, they're first order thinkers. And this is what happens when you get a woman who's like, I blame the grocery store for the high prices. Right. These people don't realize, here's what happens. Keystone is being built to transport oil from Canada through the U.S. and then it goes south down to the Gulf or whatever for transport and distribution. This means that when you're looking at the market futures, you're like, okay, do we have enough supply for demand? Well, Keystone's been shut down, which means we are now going to fall short of supply with demand increasing. Prices are going to go up. Then what happens? people are buying, saying we better buy now, which causes prices to drive straight up.
Yes.
Now your gas costs more money because Joe Biden is negatively impacting the entire industry and infrastructure.
And then we tapped the Strategic Petroleum Reserve.
Drained it.
Drained that.
So stupid.
Yeah, we drained that one. It's like
I remember watching that happen, and I was just like, "Stop doing that!
And
Stop
now,
it!"
And I just want to point this all out and loop it all back into a nice little bow. All of the things Joe Biden did have put us on the path for total annihilation if it comes to international warfare.
yes, we're not ready. The Strategic Petroleum Reserve spent down, right? Completely spent down.
And Trump had filled it up.
And then the policies that you've had these globalists pushing for years as it relates to jobs in the United States and deindustrialization. Like in the United States right now, we can make just over 16,000 artillery shells a month. That's what we can do. The Ukrainians are spending 60,000 a month. So we're transferring literally out of stockpile over to them, which is affecting our readiness down the road. The Pentagon has a plan to increase this to like 24,000 artillery shells a month in the next 3 years. Does that sound like we're ready for anything? Like, of course we're not ready.
Not exactly, yeah.
We rushed, just into this service tech economy type thing that we're living in now, offshored all of our manufacturing jobs. If we had a World War II situation pop up here again, is there any way we'd be ready to industrialize the economy to be able to build the type of machinery, equipment, and military equipment that we would need to defend ourselves? Of course not. The only thing we'd have is like Facebook, and we could post a comment being like, the Chinese are invading, this sucks. The only thing we
just meme about it.
Yeah.
Yep. It's terrible.
It'll go down in the history books as we all whinged ourselves to death.
Right.
I'm really upset about our new Chinese communist overlords. They're making me eat, bricks and bugs.
And the bugs.
Well, there's definitely the bugs, but it does make me think of like the Qing dynasty, right? Which was wasn't that like the isolationist dynasty in China?
Mm-hmm.
And they were isolationist for a long time, and then they emerged at the end of that. And they were like, oh, now we're ready to rejoin the world. And they had gotten a lot of their thing together in terms of like who they were as a people. And Americans, we don't know who we are as a people. I was watching this video on Twitter today. This woman was like, I was overseas and these are all the things I hate about America now. And I was just like, I hate everything about you. Like, I love everything about America.
But and we were like that. Look, we were protectionist rolling into World War I. It's
right.
We built literally the greatest economy the world has ever known. And then after World War II, I think we had a pretty clear idea of who we were.
Right. So what happened?
Marxists took over the universities.
Neoliberalism, just destroying the United States, rolling through the 60s, 70s, and so forth. And now, as we were just talking about this Israeli-Palestinian conflict, it's been very interesting because it's literally like in a conflict, think about World War I, where they send up a flare and you can see where everybody is. Right now, we're seeing where everybody is, like the universities, the faculty, everybody. And it's worse than most people thought it was.
Well, the universities are about to lose a ton of money. More and more professors are refusing to back down. And so these big donors are like, we're not giving you money anymore.
Yep.
Good. Yeah.
They let them collapse. I was in those colleges teaching for too long. I saw like Marxists teaching the kids,
I was in those colleges studying for too long.
And in New York, right? Where as worse as it could possibly be. But I really do think the universities are a big problem of where our identity started to erode.
I don't think it's universities. I think it's social media.
I think social media accelerated it. But I think a lot of really bad people who are actual like Marxists, like people in the Weather Underground, who are terrorists, domestic terrorists, then got out of jail, pardoned by people like Clinton, went into became professors and then taught, Marxism.
I've had this debate 50 billion times, and there are a lot of ideologies in universities. And just because one we know of now doesn't mean that it's the cause of it. It just means it existed in universities.
Right.
And this is why we thought that as soon as these kids got out of college, they'd have a cold wake-up call. But so let's put it this way. Let's say there's the greater world and there's university world. University world is woke. These kids graduate from college from woke professors.
Yep.
They should be thrown into a capitalist world that chews them up and spits them out. No, something else happened. Those kids commanded power.
Because there were a lot of them.
No, because of social media. because the kids would go on and send 50 emails. They would then start spamming, and McDonald's would panic, and these corporations would panic and be like, what's happening? Why are we being attacked for this? If there was no social media apparatus, these kids would never get on TV to complain about anything. They would never come out and say, we think this company is racist because they did X or Y. The people who run the company would be like, they'd go to the big media corporations and say, don't have those people on your show, and they'd be marginalized.
Right.
But social media gave them a free platform, and the algorithms incentivized intersectionality and far left politics because more keywords means more clicks. They made more money from it. Now, when you've got big corporations going to these brands, they're going to say, look, we use Google AdSense. Our principal customers are a whole bunch of small restaurants. We don't care. We're going to run the article calling you racist because it's going to make us $1 million.
And the way I see it is social media is an extension of the Marxism they learned in schools, where they were taught like the Cultural Revolution was good, you know, at least what I'm hearing. And then they see the social media as a struggle session where they can. So
the issue is all the other ideologies that exist did not get that boost, and they're in colleges as well.
Right.
And it's because social media algorithms, they take what is socially acceptable plus whatever generates the most keywords possible, which of course is going to be racism, social justice, etc. So if they started making videos that were pro-white nationalism, those would be deemed socially unacceptable by big brands and otherwise, so it doesn't happen. Facebook doesn't want to be associated with it. So they create algorithms that promote far left politics, which is why Twitter went from the free speech wing of the free speech party into you can't misgender people, it's against the rules. Social media was promoting these things. Jack Dorsey was a free speech absolutist until he started getting attacked by activists. But I'll simplify it because I do want to move on to the next story. None of this would exist or break through into the mainstream were it not for social media platforms allowing or incentivizing companies to do it. Example, Mike.com started off as pro Ron Paul and then turned into far left wokeness. It's not because the universities made it happen. It's because the social media algorithms created a monetary course for any new blog, and it was plainly obvious that Ron Paul was not making you money. Wokeness was. Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.